Yes, ma'am.
Uh, uh, Ma'am, Shanti ma'am. Ma'am.
Ma'am, line disturbance இருக்கு ma'am.
Yes, yes sir, yes sir. Shanti ma'am, ma'am unmute பண்ணுங்க ma'am. Yes ma'am. Ma'am.
Hello. Hello, Uma.
Yes ma'am, yes ma'am. It's audible ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we'll start the session now ma'am. Karpalakshmi ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes ma'am. You'll start now ma'am, please.
Very good. A very good morning to all. Let me take immense pleasure in welcoming you all to the second session of 5-day online Atal FDP on AR VR that's happening in Department of CSE Jnanamani College of Technology. Session 2 of Atal FDP is overview and perspective on VR and AR. I feel so proud that we have Dr. N. Shanti, Professor and Head, Department of CSE, Kongu Engineering College, Perundurai, as the resource person for our gathering. Let me take privilege of sharing the information about our resource person of today's session that I came across. Dr. N. Shanti received the BE degree in Computer Science and Engineering in 1994 and ME degree in Computer Science and Engineering in 2001 from Bharatiyar University, Coimbatore. She has completed the PhD degree in Periyar University, Salem in offline handwritten Tamil character recognition in 2009. She worked as professor and head in the Department of Information Technology at K.S. Rangasamy College of Technology from 1994 to 2013. Professor and Dean in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at Nanda Engineering College, Erode from 2013 to 2017. And currently working as professor and head in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at Kongu Engineering College. She has published 80 papers in reputed international journals, 60 papers in national and international conferences, and published 2 books. 11 scholars have completed PhD degree under her guidance, and currently she is supervising 6 research scholars under Anna University, Chennai. She has organized a number of workshops and seminars sponsored by AICT, CSIR, DRDO, and etc. She has received Outstanding Woman Educator and Scholar Award by NFED. Her current research interest includes image processing, optical character recognition, blockchain, and network security. She is a lifetime member of ISTE and a fellow member of IEI. Today, we are expecting a great learning ahead. Let me hand over the session to our respected resource person, Dr. N. Shanti, ma'am. Session over to you, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kappa Lakshmi. First of all, let me congratulate Jnanamani College of Technology, Computer Science Department for getting this AICTE Atal sponsored FTP on this virtual reality and augmented reality. Congratulations to Computer Science Department, and I thank Dr. Uma Maheshwari for inviting me as the resource person for this FTP.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hope all of you are staying safe. Is my screen visible?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, today my topic is an introduction. So first session, I hope in the last session you all had a wonderful yoga session. Hope so. Uh, since this is the first session, I'm just going to give you an introduction to virtual reality and augmented reality. It's really a very interesting and very recent topic, which is going on recently. Not recently; it is for a long time. So today what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you an introduction of what is this virtual reality and history, and then difference between virtual reality and augmented reality, and then some of the applications of using this virtual reality. And you have so many more sessions wherein you will see in-depth details about all this various aspects of virtual reality. Since we cannot change reality, that's a fact we have to accept. We'll change the eyes which see reality. That is what is going to be virtual reality. Okay, so it is not in our hands to change what is there in our hand, but we can change things which what we see through our eyes, so that it can be like a reality. So we'll just see what is virtual reality. Is it possible to travel to Mars for us? It may be possible for some scientist who is working in space research. But for a normal human being like us, it is definitely not possible. It is not possible to travel to Mars or Moon or whatever it is. Similarly, can you run an Olympic for 100 meters? Again, that's also another question mark. Maybe it is possible for athletes who regularly practices, who selected for running in Olympic, but for us it is not possible. Similarly, is it possible to share a stage with somebody who is iconic like Rajnikant in our place, or somebody who is very famous? Again, it's not possible for us, for a human being like us. So there are so many things which are not really possible for a normal human being, but all these are possible without even leaving our home with a help of virtual reality. Okay. So whatever we think, whatever we imagine, that can be done using this virtual reality. See, for the past 1 year, 3 months, we have been affected by this COVID, that too particularly our academic institutions. We are not able to open the colleges. We are not able to see our students. Okay, everything we are doing it through online mode. And one important event which every student expects is the convocation, because he completes his studies, he completes his course for studies for 4 years. He does whatever possible, and he gets a degree, and finally he expects to receive his degree in a convocation function. But that is also now it's not possible because of this current pandemic situation. And now we'll just see a simple 2-minute video where IIT Madras, they have conducted a virtual convocation using this virtual reality. I hope many of you would have seen this, but still just for
every convocation since 1964, everyone has looked forward eagerly the award of the President of India Gold Medal. Would indeed be very disappointing if the awardee is not present here with us first time. Rajat informed me that you would try to be here in person. What a pleasant surprise, Rajat. You've gone to extraordinary lengths to be with us here today. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming here to receive your medals. Fantastic, Rajat. Lifetime experience. You know, awesome.
I hope you all would have seen this virtual convocation function. Have you seen? Was it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
That
It is
video?
very interesting. Nice.
Okay. So it is because of this virtual reality they made it possible. Okay, virtual convocation. So what is this virtual reality? It is unlike real reality. Virtual reality means simulating bits of our world or completely imaginary worlds using high performance computers and sensory equipment like headsets and gloves. See, these two are very, very important for making this virtual reality possible, headsets and gloves, and along with high performance computers. There are a few other definitions like virtual reality means experiencing things through our computers that don't really exist. Okay, so whatever we want, whatever we imagine, that could be made possible using this virtual reality. Practically, really, it may not be possible, but virtually you can experience, anyone can experience all these things. Okay, so it is an artificial world which consists of images and sounds created by a computer. Okay, it's not a real world, it's an artificial world. So whatever we want, we can, like if you want to create a Mars, you can create. If you want to create a stage with some human being, you can create. So it is an artificial world which consists of images and sounds. Again, a world consists of so many images and sounds. Real world is like that. So however you want, you can create an artificial world which consists of images and sounds, which could be created by a computer and that is affected by the actions of a person who is experiencing it. Say, for example, if I want to travel in a world like Mars, where the computer creates artificial images and sounds so that the world looks like a Mars, and depending on my actions, I'll experience. Say, if I move or if I shake my hands, so depending on my actions, I'll experience it. So this is called virtual reality. Okay. Before we see few things about virtual reality, let us see about history of virtual reality, how it comes into existence. Since the first session, just let us go through this history of virtual reality. It is not that it is created just a few years ago or 10 years ago or 20 years ago. It's been here for a long time, but the technology could be different. Technology could be, it has improved a long way. But if you see, this is the history of VR history timeline. It starts a long back. Okay, it started from these pictures, photographs, images. Then so many technology has come. We'll see all these things in detail. So way back in 1500, 15th century itself, people started using this virtual reality, but in smaller perspective. Okay. So it's a famous quote about this virtual reality by Martin Hillig. When anything new comes along, everyone like a child discovering the world thinks that they have invented it. But you scratch a little and you find a caveman scratching on a wall is creating virtual reality in a sense. See, that means we are thinking that it is discovered now. But already it is discovered by some ancient people, caveman, who did it in some painting. So many things already we would have read in many articles that not only this virtual reality, whatever we are experiencing now, already these are done by our old ancient people. So in some caves they would have done it. See, whenever, so if you see this, with virtual reality, it is not that only if you see through some headsets or gloves that is called virtual reality. If you read a book, if you see some pictures, if you see some films, then you will be going into that situation. Say, for example, when we see this photograph, you can imagine a person is coming through a house and there are people who are standing there. So you can see yourself in that place and you can imagine it is going on. Practically, you may not be there. Really, you may not be there. But by seeing this picture, you could see, you can imagine what is going on there. Similarly, photographs of all this. By seeing all this, actually, you can imagine the world around you. Okay, so what is virtual reality? It is taking you to a different place where physically it may not be possible. By this pictures also, you can see that there is a palace like this where so many pillars are there. There is a person, old person who plow the field using these instruments. So you can imagine, you can see how things were there in the olden days. It's also a kind of virtual reality. Okay, so the history of VR is rooted in humans' first attempts to reproduce the world around them. That is, say they have done all this so that after a few years also, if you see these pictures, you could imagine what was the lifestyle of the people before a few years. Okay, so this is early type of virtual reality. This shows what was actually there. Okay. Then if you see in 1800s, people were trying to capture reality, that is panoramas. Even in our cameras also you have panoramic views where you can see extensive view of picture. So if you see here, it is a immersive paintings. It's a painting which shows a war field. You can see how people, you can imagine how things would be when there was a war. Okay, so paintings is also a form of virtual reality. Then photography. This is the oldest photography which were taken in 1826. So if you see this, this is the oldest photo which shows field of a particular area. Okay, so but it was very old. Then stereo images were taken using Wheatstone Brewster. These are some machines using which people have seen photographs. Then there are movies like they have taken it in 1870s. See, 150 years back, 200 years back itself, people started using this virtual reality concepts. Or see, virtual reality, it is not that only creating some imaginary things. It is also so showing what is actually present. See, if I am here, I cannot see what is there in US or Canada without seeing some photographs or cameras. So from here, you can see some images or photographs by movies, by watching movies. You could see what is the reality there. Okay. So way back in 70s, 17th century, 18th century, people were using this virtual reality. So these were some devices like Wheatstone, Brewster, using which they have seen the images and the videos. So this is like old camera Viewmaster in 1939, where they have taken photographs and they have seen the pictures. Then 3D cinema. See, if I remember when I was young, we have seen a 3D movie which we call it as My Dear Kutti Chatan. So that was the movie when I was in some 5th, 6th standard. They used to give a glass like this, using which anyone can see, so that a small thing will Kutti Chatan will come and as if it is near us. Okay, so even see, for me, I have seen it in 80s, but actually in reality 3D cinema, it started in 1950s to 60 itself. Okay, it's 3D projection. Normally what we see is 2D images, and along with that there is a 3D image, 3D movie. They used to give a glass like this, you can wear it and you can see a movie. Then after all this, then people started developing some simulators kind of things for getting interactive experiences. So in 1900s, in before 1960s, people have developed a flight simulation called as Sensorama. So they used this for simulating a flight. See, it is really difficult to learn driving the flights really. So they have developed a simulator for learning to drive flights. Okay, that is called flight simulation called Sensorama in 1955. Then actually this head-mounted displays, it was developed in 1960s by Ivan Sutherland. Okay, he is the first one who developed this head-mounted displays, and now that is widely used everywhere for viewing this virtual reality images, videos, and audios. Then people have started using this for military and university research in 1970s to 80s in US, NASA, MIT, etc. Then in 1980s to 90s only, first commercial wave came into existence. A lot of companies, they started creating some games, some applications which can be sold. Commercial applications were developed. But during that time, it was very, very costly and it is not affordable by every individual. And during that time, 80s to 90s, affording a computer itself is a very costly affair. Okay, not everyone will be having a smart devices or computers. Only few computers will be there here and there. So it was not possible for everyone to use it. So it was not successful, even though in 1980s to 90s it came as commercial. Okay, so this was the link training, that is simulator training, where people used this for giving training for flight simulation. So it's this helped to give full 6-degree of freedom rotation. It has some feedback also, motion control, simulated environments, instruments, and it models common flight conditions. When actually it flies, how it will be there, all those things are modeled. So it really helps the pilots to get trained instead of going directly and getting trained. Over 5 lakh pilots, they got trained using this simple flight simulator training. Okay, so this virtual reality really helped in simulation kind of things. You can see how it worked. There is a YouTube video also available for this link training video. See, they have done it in 1940s. Almost 80 years back, they have done this link training. Okay. This is the device called Sensorama, which was created by Martin Heilig. They call it as an experience theater, where they have provided multi-sensory feelings. That is, they could see visuals, sound, wind, vibration, and smell. All these things could be seen using this Sensorama. This is a device. It is an experience theater where you can see all these 5 different types of senses. Okay, but commercially it was a failure because there was no financial support for this kind of theaters. Okay, but it was the first one where it produced 5 different sensory things like visual, sounds, wind, smell, etc. So these were the early head-mounted display. See, in 1943 itself, they have applied for a patent. The first patent on head-mounted display was applied in 1943 itself. Again, after this, Heilig, he obtained, because Heilig was the one who developed this Sensorama with different sensory things. So he applied for patent in 1960, head-mounted display. It is one of the very important device for this virtual reality. Okay. Then lot of based on that, then lot of head-mounted displays were developed in 1961 by Philco, Headsight, Harvard, Viewer, Sutherland. So many people, they have started developing this head-mounted displays because it is one of the very important device for virtual reality to be possible. So This Ivan Sutherland in 1960s. He was the pioneer of computer graphics, and he only suggested that this head-mounted display as a window into a virtual world. So he suggested that using this head-mounted display HMD, you can see the virtual world. Okay, so he has given some diagrams how it is possible, and this head-mounted display controls our brain so that our brain could see the various images and pictures so that we ourselves immersed into the field where whatever we are seeing it. Okay, so in 1968, he has produced this Ivan Sutherland's head-mounted display. Okay, so it's about some 50 years back, 55 years back, he has developed this. Then in Air Force also, people started using this head-mounted displays. They call it as super cockpit between 1965 to 80s. So for US Air Force research program, they have started using it for research purpose also. They have used it, and by Tom Furness 3. Here again, they have tested with multi-sensory signals: visual, auditory, tactile, head, eye, speech, hand input. So everything they tried. Okay, and they have addressed this pilot information, flight controls, and tasks. Actually, practically, if you done it is too complicated. So they have done using this so that the people gets experience. Okay, so they have started using it only for research purpose. So these are the initial cockpits which were used for research purpose. Then next is haptic systems, where people use their hands to experience things. Okay, so see here they have used some device so that when they do some actions on their hands, then it will change the pictures on the screens. Okay, so it is a 64 fields of molecular structures. So for that also they have tried. There are different versions, different progressions in this group 1, group 2, group 3. In different years, people were using this devices for controlling the images which are shown in the screens. Then after this head-mounted display, people started using data gloves. So using data gloves, it is possible to control the images which are shown in the screens. It's just a 2-minute video. Just see.
Show you some of the uses of the Data Glove system, which consists of a data glove, an interface box, a computer, and appropriate software. The Data Glove contains patented flex sensors to measure finger bending, a magnetic positioning sensor to measure X, Y, and Z position, and roll, pitch, and yaw rotation. We will show you 3 applications of the Data Glove.
Hope you all would have seen this demo of data glove. Was it visible? Hello?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So, instead of a head mount display, here people used data glove so that when they do some actions on using their fingers, that is controlled in the screen. Okay, so that is another kind of virtual reality, another device which is used for virtual reality. Then again, a lot of research were going on. NASA, they also did lot of research, and they call it as virtual visual environmental display. Virtual visual, that is called VVED, virtual visual environment display. So here they used a lot of early head mount displays like this. They have used for visualizing things. They used both the tracker, then head mount display, 3D audio, data gloves, simple graphics. They combined everything. This head mount display, all this wired gloves, then 3D audios. So everything they have combined and they have tested. Okay, they are by NASA. VPL is a company. It is a first commercial VR company. So they have provided complete systems with displays, software, gloves, iPhone, audio sphere, etc. So everything is available by this first commercial VR company called as VPL Research between 1985 to 1999. So using which you can have a experience of this VR virtual reality. And lot of universities were also trying to develop things. So University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, they have developed head-mounted displays for tracking, haptics, and they used it for different kinds of applications. Similarly, University of Washington, they have used it for medical applications like virtual retinal display, then pain care, education. For different applications, University of Washington people, they started using this things. Human interface lab, okay, interface technology lab. Then after this, there is another expansion into this where they have called it as CAVE. That is audio visual experience automatic virtual environment. Okay, that is called CAVE. Okay, it gives us stereo projections where you can. It is developed by University of Illinois Chicago. Again, this is also a commercial application by this McDane Corporation. Then after all this in 95, using desktop itself, people started creating this virtual reality, but it was too expensive in 1995 itself. It cost around $150,000 plus, and but it can use 2 million polygons per second for creating this virtual reality. It can create 2 billion polygons per second. Magnetic tracking was possible, 30 Hz head-mounted display, VGA was there. But it was the initial one, but it was too costly. So for a common people, it was not possible to use this VR, this desktop VR. Then after this, a lot of commercial VR companies came. So these were different VR companies. They started developing different kinds of devices. Okay, different authoring tools, games, etc. It was one game, but because of its cost in 2007, Computer World magazine, they given VR is voted 7th on the list of 21 biggest technology flops because it is too costly. So many people, many companies are not able to withstand this VR technology. So they've given it as it is one of the technology which is not successful. This VR technology got seventh position in 2007, just 15 years back, 14 years back. They have given it as it is not successful. But you see, after this, Google, Apple, every company, they started using this second wave, VR second wave. It came in 2010. Okay, so if you see, they have started now. Even for 600 rupees, this head-mounted display is available. My son, he got it just 1 year, 2 years back, wherein you can place mobile phone. There are certain videos available for seeing this virtual reality, and using this head-mounted display, you can see. You can go to a different world and you can see things. Okay, so now things have changed. This Oculus Rift, it is a company. Really, they made a change in this head-mounted display. They are the Kickstarter, and it was acquired by Facebook in 2014. So after this acquisition by Facebook, lot of other companies came into it, like Google, Amazon, then Apple. So everybody started coming into this virtual reality thing. So it was a Kickstarter video. Then in 2016, a graphics desktop was given, where the cost is only $1,500. So when compared to 96, now the cost is reduced very much. Here it can do greater than 4 billion polygons per second, because all images are a collection of different polygons. Okay, so here they, for virtual reality, it says the unit here they give it as polygons per second. And head mounted display also costing only $600, and you can keep it in a single room in a smaller place. So it has become possible for many individuals, organizations, for going into this virtual reality, and lot of research is also going on. Now Google is having Google Earth, using which you can visualize the earth around us. Even you can see a place, a far off place, where you can see even a single small house there. So that is possible because of this virtual reality. And after 2016, lot of consumer head-mounted displays are available. So there are different types of available, and Oculus Rift was the first which made it successful. And after that, so many companies like Sony, HTC, everyone started developing this consumer normal human, like I have told, we have bought it for just 600 rupees. Okay, so it has become very easy. Now everyone can have this head mounted display. And gesture input devices are also available. Based on your gestures, your hand movements, then you can adjust, like a joystick. All these things are there. You can adjust based on it. See, this is one application called a Tilt Brush by Google. This Tilt Brush, it helps you to paint in 3D space with virtual reality. Like you can consider your room as your canvas, and your palette as your imagination. That is, there is no actual palette available. You can imagine, and whatever design you want, you can do it in your room. Okay, there are endless possibilities for creating this tilt press. It is very interesting. You can see this video, just 1 minute video. That's all. So we can paint a 3D space with the virtual reality using this. And there are a lot of other things, lot of other projects. Google, they have created a Google Cardboard. It was released in 2014. Almost greater than 5 million was shipped. It is very easy to use. You see here in that cardboard, there was a mobile, so that was kept. And using the mobile, you can see the videos and see mobile plus cardboard, that is pen, and whatever videos which are run in this mobile can be seen through this cardboard. It looks like a 3D image. And there are a lot of VR viewers available. These are self-contained VR, which consist of tracking devices, handheld controllers, mobile graphics processing, so everything included in addition to HMD, head-mounted displays. And now this 2019, now we are in 2021, but in 2019, Forbes described this year as the year virtual reality gets real. So that is how they have describes this year as 2019. So because many companies, they started investing on this VR. So it's not just VR anymore. And a lot of companies, they have started a huge amount of investment because of inexpensive hardware platforms, easy to use content creation tools, new devices are available for input output, and there are a lot of proven use cases. Okay, so no more hype. So it was virtual reality made real. It is possible in 2019 because this from 2015, lot of companies are into this field and they started using this. Okay, and it mostly focus on user experience, and since the users are very much satisfied, it is sustained. Okay, so this was about the history of virtual reality. It's a very long history. It's been there for so many years, and now it has become real, and even it is possible for a human, normal human being like us. Okay, so why this is shown is that initially this 1960s to 70s computers occupies the entire room. Then it has come developed into a desktop, then laptop, then handheld device. All these are having relationship with virtual reality also. So when during this period we are to some extent, during this period it is to some extent, but now we are in an era where we have a computer in our hand. Now everything is made possible. Okay, this was the diagram which is given in this paper, which clearly distinguishes between normal GUI, virtual reality, ubiquitous computers, and augmented interaction. Just a glimpse of all this. If you see, this is the computer world, this is the real world. C represents computer world, this is the real world. In graphical user interface, there is a difference between this computer world and real world. Okay, here this is a human computer interaction, this is a human real world interaction. There is no interaction between real world and the computer. That is a normal GUI based device. And in virtual reality, here if you see, people immerse in this computer is actually inside this real world. So we are in a world where we imagine that we are living in that world, but actually we may not be there. Okay, that is called virtual reality. Ubiquitous computers, people connected with every other device. Okay, ubiquitous computers. Augmented interaction, let us see later, where there is an interaction between the actual real world and the computer world. There is an interaction between this augmented, real world and the computer world. So that we'll see later. So this is a normal graphical interface. There is a difference between a physical world and a digital world, where in your system you have windows, icons, menus, pointers that we normally use. And ubiquitous computing, as everybody knows, it is an IoT concept where every device is connected So we call it as smart object. So embed computing and sensing in real world, where every device is connected. A human being is connected with every other device. That is called ubiquitous computing, or that now we call it as IoT. Now comes into virtual reality, where the users are immersed in computer generated environment. So user is here, computer generates an environment, we involve ourselves, immerse ourselves into an environment which is created by the computer. See, when we read a book which is very, very interesting, then we do not know what is going on surrounding us. We are completely into it. If you see a movie, if it is very interesting, then we do not know what is going on outside. See, sometimes people will cry, people will laugh. They'll do, depends on the movie which is going on. Okay, so similarly here, users immerse. That is also a kind of virtual reality. Here it is possible by using this HMD, head-mounted displays, gloves, 3D graphics, and body tracking. So it is a typical VR system. And there are so many other definitions given for virtual reality. Some basic definitions we have seen already. Definition, just we'll see the definition by Wikipedia, and the other things you can read it later. A computer technology, virtual reality is a computer technology that replicates an environment, real or imagined, and simulates a user's physical presence and environment to allow for user interaction. Okay, so in virtual reality, in an environment, an user can also interact with the environment. That is what is more important. In GUI and all, just whatever is seen, you can see. You cannot interact with it. Okay. So and different people have given different definitions for virtual reality. If you see this Pimentel, he gives VR as an interactive, immersive experience generated by a computer. So anyway, computer is very, very essential for all this. And there are three different important characteristics for VR. One is this 3D stereoscopic display, wide field of view display, and head tracking. That is, you have to move your heads here and there so that see, normally in a area, if you see, you will move your head from here and there, you could see different pictures, different images. See, when these three things, 3D stereoscopic displays, wide field display, and low latency head tracking, all these are combined, then it provides a compelling, immersive experience for a human being. That becomes virtual reality. You can see how it looks like. And there is another way using which you can define in terms of presence. That is, a user should be present. He should experience. Okay, so presence is the key to defining VR in terms of experience. Okay, that is a person has to experience. He has to feel that he is in a particular. Normally, how do we feel? By smell, by having colors, looks, something like that. So you have to be present in an environment. So presence is defined as the sense of being in an environment. So in a particular environment, we have to be present. Then what is telepresence? It is defined as the experience of presence in an environment by means of a communication medium. Okay, so presence is actually you have to present. Like I'm going for a particular falls. So if I go there physically, then I am present there. Okay, in that environment. I want to see Niagara Falls. So I'm going there, visiting the place. I'm actually presenting it. But telepresent is I am experiencing that presence using some environment, using some communication medium. Okay, so here computers and head-mounted displays, they generate that presence. Okay, so that we feels that I am now at Niagara Falls. Actually, I am not at Niagara Falls. So using computers, it gives a feeling, gives an experience that I am in that, I am near that Niagara Falls. That is called as telepresence. So using some communication medium, if you have that experience of presence in an environment, then that is called telepresence. Okay, so virtual reality is defined as a real or simulated environment in which a perceiver experiences telepresence. So using some medium, if you have that feeling of present in a particular environment, then that is called as virtual reality. Okay, so this is under the definition where you have autonomy, presence, interaction. If all these three are there, autonomy means user can react to events and stimuli. If I am, normally if I am there in a place, I'll react to different events at that place, right? So even in virtual also, if I am able to have that, if I am able to react to certain events, then that is called autonomy. See, I am there in the Niagara Falls. I just want to touch the water. If I feel that chillness, then normally I'll do when I actually physically go there. Okay. Similarly, users interaction. Users can interact with objects and environment. See, whatever I do physically, if I am able to do it using the virtual concepts, then that is called using some medium, then that is called as virtual reality. So presence. So user feels immersed through sensory input and output channels. If I have some smell, if I have that temperature, different environment conditions, climatic conditions. So if all this changes, you have autonomy, presence, interaction. If all these three are there, then you have virtual reality. Okay. Uma, can I take 10 more minutes or 5 more minutes? I think it's 12:40, 12:37. Uma?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am, sure, ma'am.
Okay. I think it's nearing lunchtime. I think all of you are tired. We'll finish it within another 10 minutes. There are different types of virtual reality. In some authors they say 5, some says 7. And there are commonly 7 different types of virtual reality. Semi-immersive virtual reality, augmented. Semi-immersive means user is not completely immersive in an environment, but he feels that he is in an environment. Augmented reality, anyway, we'll see later, where the virtual reality combines into the actual real human being. That is called augmented reality. One example I can see is, I do not know how many of you have seen this Jeans movie by Shankar, where there is a song. Actually, Aishwarya Rai will dance. Along with Aishwarya Rai, an image is projected and that will also dance. I think many of you would have seen that movie, Jeans movie. It was very famous. So that is a kind of augmented reality where a real human being is interacting with the image. Okay. Then collaborative VR, where multiple people they collaborate among themselves using virtual reality concepts. That is, if simultaneously if more people wants to get trained, then they can use this collaborative VR. Then manufacturing VR means in industry for training purposes, people are using this manufacturing VR. Then medical field, in medical field again for teaching, for this using this machines, different equipments, people are using this medical VR. Anyway, you will be studying about all this in the later sessions. Then VR therapy, not only for that, if people is suffering using some things, then you can use this virtual reality for giving therapy. Okay. And in mixed reality, it is like augmented reality where real human and this virtual thing can integrate or interact among themselves as if they are original. That is called mixed reality, which is the recent one which is going on. Okay. Just a few glimpses about this augmented reality. Here we have seen virtual reality. This augmented reality is part of one type of virtual reality. Here the virtual images are blended with the real world. Okay, actual real world is there. So if you see here, this is virtual, this is real, both are blended. Okay, that is called augmented reality. So they can see through HMD, handheld display, viewpoint tracking, etc. So here human by wearing this, they can interact with the virtual images. So that is called augmented reality. So even it was in science fiction movies like this. So the definition is here it combines real and virtual images. Both can be seen at the same time. See, in virtual, if you just simply take virtual reality, there we'll have only virtual images. But here you have actual real image and also the virtual image. Okay. And even you can be interactive in real time with the virtual images. You can interact. The virtual content can be interacted with, and it can be registered in 3D space. Virtual objects appear fixed in the space. Okay. So mainly the main difference is you can combine real and virtual images, and it can interact. So if you see here, both these are some of the examples: real image, real one, and this is the image. They can combine, they can interact. Okay. So here these things are not actually there, but they can see and they can interact with all this. So this is the difference, minimum differences between AR and VR. So if you see here, virtual reality, it replaces reality. Augmented reality, it can enhance reality. That is the main difference. So in augmented reality, you have real images. Along with that, you have virtual images. But here, the real images are replaced with the virtual images. That is the main difference between this virtual reality and augmented reality. So here it requires realistic images. Here minimal rendering was okay. Here it is fully immersive wide field of view. Here it is non-immersive small field of view, because real images, real persons are also there. And the low to medium accuracy is high. Here you need highest accuracy possible, because both real and the virtual has to mingle. Okay, so for that you need highest accuracy possible. So from ubiquitous computing to augmented reality to virtual, it is completely virtual, it is completely real. Augmented reality is in between real world and the virtual world. So where it combines both real world and the virtual world. And this virtual reality, there are a huge number of applications now. People are using this virtual reality in so many applications. They are using it in healthcare, entertainment. You know, lots of games are now developed using this virtual reality applications. In manufacturing field, where they try to build and inspect prototyping designs. In education field, now lot of classes are going on using this education field. Then charities, they'll have some experiences, sports, military, travel. Okay, it's endless. Lots of applications are there which uses VR. Okay, so to conclude, virtual reality, it has a very long history, more than 50 years, 100 years. For more than 50 years, people are using this head-mount displays, then simulators, etc. Now, the key elements for VR were in place by early 1990s, like the displays, tracking, input, graphics, etc. And they had a strong support from military, government, and different universities. The first commercial wave failed in late 90s because it was too expensive, bad user experience, and poor technology. And now we are in the second commercial wave where you have better experience, affordable hardware, large commercial investment, significant install user base are all there. So now it has become very, very successful because it is affordable even for a common human being. So now people are using it for different kinds of applications like education, then medical field, then gaming field. There are so many fields where people are trying to use it, and it is very, very successful now. The second wave is very, very successful now. Okay, and most of the slides I have referred using University of South Australia introduction. Thank you all. Any doubts? I hope I have completed within the time.
Thank you, ma'am. Participants, if you have any queries, please ask now, or otherwise post your queries in the chat box.
Ma'am, may I
Hello?
ask one question?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Atul Bhargav from Jaipur.
Okay. One
Ma'am,
second.
you mentioned about mixed reality, augmented reality, and virtual reality.
Yes.
What I have understood between augmented reality and virtual reality, but what about the mixed reality?
Mixed reality where the real images and the virtual images interact with each other. See, in augmented reality, both will be seen. Okay, but there is no interaction between virtual images and real images. But in mixed reality, there is an interaction.
Okay, so it is in between the two, basically. You can
Yes.
say.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's mixed.
Right.
Thank you.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Professor Mahesh Mistry here.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Is there any effect of on brain health of that head mounted display?
If you continuously use it, then definitely there will be, but depends on the device, it will vary, sir.
Okay.
Depends on the quality. If you continuously wear that device, as I have told you, even in our house, we got one simple device using which we can have an experience. But when we keeps on viewing it using that head-mounted display, then our eyes are getting strained. That is because of the quality. But if you use a quality head-mounted display, which is used for simulation and all, it will not be a problem. That depends on the quality of the device which they use.
Okay. Another question, madam. Which softwares are used for this?
Sir, I am not much familiar with this. Sorry.
Okay. I am also mechanical engineer. That's why I asked.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Very
you,
nice that even a mechanical professor is interested in attending this VR workshop.
Actually, I want to know that. That's why.
Okay. Maybe in the further sessions you will have more idea on all these things.
Okay, madam.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am, Karpalakshmi, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. If there is no queries, we'll wind up the session now.
Okay. It's a time for vote of thanks. It's my privilege to thank our resource person on behalf of Department of CSE Nyanamani College of Technology and participants from various institutions. The session was very informative. I feel so great that we got much information about AR and VR to enhance our knowledge. We are looking forward your association in future also, ma'am. Once again, I extend my thanks to all for your kind cooperation. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you all.
Madam, can you share all the PPT of morning session, madam?
Sorry?
Madam, can you share all the PPT of morning session, whatever it has been
Sure,
talked by
sir.
the respective scholar?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure.
Okay.
I really thank all the participants for spending 1 hour time with us. Thank you so much. Thank you, Uma. Thank you, organizers, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. Hope you all have a lot of useful insights in the coming days. Wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
A kind information to all participants. The next session starts at 2 p.m. All of you kindly join the session before 10 minutes. The feedback form will be posted at the end of every session in a chat box. It will enable only for 10 minutes. Kindly fill the feedback form within a given time. Expecting your kind cooperation on this. Thank you so much.